It brings Kohli on strike. He's looked good. 46 from 48. Need someone in the top order to get 100 here from India's point of view in this chase. This is what happens in the middle overs when the ball doesn't quite come onto the bat. You tend to try and hit it too hard.
Yeah, it's a little phase in the game where the bowlers can just put a bit of pressure on the batsman. He has played well, Virat Kohli. He's hit the ball cleanly. He's a real punchy player. You know, he presents a full face to the bat, whichever shots he plays.
Yeah, this is not what you normally see from him. So the asking rate at the moment is 7.5.
That's where it's the mental side of the game. You've got to be tough. You can't get too worried about scoreboard pressure because you can catch up. But it's not easy because you feel a little bit of pressure to hit a boundary or two. But this is where the experienced players can find the gaps and find a boundary when they need it without over-attacking.
Yeah, the last over, the previous over from Maxwell conceded only 2 runs. So that can add to the pressure. You're trying to make up for that quieter over, the next over. That's why looking to go down the pitch to Hazelwood. Hazelwood also can be sometimes predictable because he's so accurate. But he's also seeing the batters go down just before he releases the ball.
Good over so far, just 4 conceded. Five of the over. So after 24, it's 156 for 2. So 156 for 2. Maxwell continuing. I mentioned it'll be a good contest this. Shreyas Iyer likes to get after the off spinners, take the aerial route.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he gets back on strike, he can hold himself back from maybe going downtown and looking to hit over mid-wicket or mid-on. Very restrained so far. Shreyas Iyer, I thought he might really have a crack at Maxwell. Maybe just trying to get used to the pace of the pitch at the moment.
He's bowling well. He's varying his pace nicely. The line is good. He's not given any room outside the off stump. There again, just bowling to his field.
Yes, he's just not allowing the batters to free their arms. He's just bowling at the pads. You can see how cramped they are for room to play shots off the back foot or even off the front foot. What a good over. Just 3 runs again, 159 for 2.
So 159 for 2 at the halfway stage. 25 overs have been bowled. India still need another 194 from 25. Cameron Green into the attack. Two wickets have fallen in this innings, both taken by Maxwell.
Yeah, first one was a really good catch out in the deep by Labuschagne. He's an excellent outfielder. Had to move to his right. Washington Sundar hit it sweetly, and then a reflex catch from Glenn Maxwell. Like he didn't see it, and in the end, he's freakish enough talent to get it right in the middle of the right hand.
So SBI Life अपनों के लिए award, and Manas Labuschagne has got runs in this game, 72 from 58. He's taken a catch, so he's in the thick of the action. And what he's done with that innings, he's given a headache for the Australian selectors to pick the team tomorrow. Now this is turning out to be a good period of play for Australia. Boundaries have dried up, runs coming in just singles and twos.
Well, 29 balls since the last boundary. Here's Manas. His innings was a very good one because it was through the middle, and the end when the ball got a bit soft, pitch slowed up a bit. I think he's a certainty to come into the squad. I don't think there's any doubt. I think he'll come into the 15-man squad for the World Cup. He's shown enough in the last 6 or 7 games. Experience and good clean hitting.
Now he gets it right. Over mid-off. One bounce over the rope and a half century for Virat Kohli. Needed to use his feet to get the elevation.
Needed to break the shackles. I just wonder whether Pat Cummins should have given Josh Hazlewood another over. They had the screws were turned. India were battling to hit boundaries. Cameron Green's a little easier to hit than Josh Hazlewood, and Virat Kohli's just seized on the moment. Good footwork. Another nice 50 for him.
And that's hit down the ground. Just a single. It's a good innings. This is how he reaches his half century.
Yeah, it's a great shot, but Cameron Green's slow ball, it just has not worked. It's just been hit for a lot of runs where he bowls the off spinner or the off cutter.
So 26 gone, 168 for 2. So 26 overs have been bowled. Now 5th over for Maxwell.
He's done a super job. Glenn Maxwell just hasn't bowled a bad ball. He's just bowled a nice, simple line and length, subtle change in pace.
This is what he does well. He can alter his length. He's conceded just 1-6, no boundaries. There again, good line, bowling to his field. taking the offside option out with this line. Oh, he's got that away. Oh, good work, good work. Once again, it's Manas Labuschagne. He's like a live wire on the field.
I think he's one of the best outfielders we've produced for quite a few years, Manas. He saves so many runs, even in test matches, hits the stumps as well. He sometimes feels a bat pad, but I feel like he's a really good outfielder. Very quick. Great commitment.
Never a shortage of that. That's up in the air. And taken in the end. Steve Smith had to run backwards, and a third wicket for Maxwell. And this time it's Virat Kohli.
It's just the pressure, isn't it? Scoreboard pressure. Virat Kohli getting frustrated with Maxwell. He hasn't been able to get him away. And that's what the outfielding of Manas did, to put extra pressure. Should have been a boundary the one before. Yep, got him back on strike, but he felt like he had to hit a boundary and it wasn't quite short enough. And Maxwell pushing that one through. Good catch by Steve Smith. I thought for a moment he was in all sorts of trouble. He was backpedaling, wasn't sure where the other fieldsmen were. There's Maxwell, third wicket for him, and a big one. You like that one, his teammate. Virat Kohli's gone for 56, 3 for 171.
So KL Rahul has come out to the middle. They're losing their third wicket. All three taken by Maxwell. You can see the pressure building. Just had that feeling something's going to give. Good opportunity here to bowl a few more dot balls to the newcomer. Rahul, on the other hand, plays spin well. Got a good range of shots, front foot, back foot, can sweep well. So another good one this for Australia. There's 3 runs conceded and a wicket, 171 for 3. Cameron Green.
The problem for India seemed to be that not too many batters so far have played the reverse sweep against the line Maxwell's been bowling. The reverse sweep would have been a lot more productive than looking to play, because you're cramping you on the pads all the time. Australians have a lot of batters who can do that. Warner plays the reverse sweep very well. Labuschagne plays very well. Maxwell himself plays the reverse very well. I think maybe Shreyas Iyer does a little bit. Suryakumar Yadav does. It's a very, very good shot to throw the bowler off. We have allowed Maxwell to bowl at the pads with the kind of field that he's got. And the offside's been pretty safe. Nothing's happened on the offside.
You'd have to say in general, a lot of the Indians are not big sweepers of the ball, either normal sweeps or reverse sweeps. They tend to stand up and hit over mid-wicket or mid-on, which you wouldn't think would be the case. You'd think they'd be quite adept at sweeping and the reverse sweep, but they're not as keen as some nations on it.
It's very productive. It's very upsetting for a spinner. Makes him really think as to what line he has to bowl. Well, Cameron Green has gone up. Alex Carey heard something. Backward point heard something. Well, they've gone upstairs.
To director, we have a player review for caught behind. On-field decision is not out. Front foot checked, its fair delivery. Move on to front down spin immediately, please. The ball is close to the bat. Can I have ultra chair, please? Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Yeah, flat line when the ball passes the bat, no bat in front. Going back to Kumar on field. Kumar, stay with your decision of not out. You're on screen, signal not out.
So not out, so means Australia have lost their reviews.
It was very strange because there was three players who were confident. The bowler, the wicketkeeper especially, Alex Carey, and backward point, so they must have heard something. It certainly wasn't a bat or a glove.
Wait, let me cross. All right. No.
He went up straight away, as did Green. Even backward points. Smith came in.
Yes.
Good over. There's just one run conceded. 172 for 3. So is it to his 6th over now? Let's get the feeling Shreyas Iyer has to take that calculated risk. Does play the shot well. He's one player who can use his reach, like Shubman Gill, can go down the track.
Run rate to 8.3, so it's getting into dangerous waters for India. It's not going to be easy for the back end, for the lower order to come in and score that sort of run rate.
can see where he bowled to Virat Kohli. Just kept him quiet. No room whatsoever outside the off stump, and then finally got his man. Kohli getting a little frustrated as he wanted the big shot.
Just a good length. It wasn't that step hit length. It was just back from that.
Here comes the sweep. And he'll get 4.
There's a sweep. I didn't see many. That was a paddle sweep, a really fine touch sweep. Just used the pace of Maxwell, found the gap.
Now he's someone who can sweep, reverse sweep. Mentioned earlier, good player of spin. Now Manbok drops back to the point boundary. Suggests that he will come more towards off stump. Still to come, Surya Kumar Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja. Then it's the bowlers.
They don't back quite as deep today, India, do they? They're obviously a couple of very good players to come in next. Then it's longish tail.
"29 overs have been bowled. It's 179 for 3.
You need a partnership here between two very skilled middle order batters in this format. This will be a great challenge for them. Go at 8.3 in the last 20 overs. It's got to be telling themselves you're playing a T20 game starting here.
8.3 doesn't scare the modern day player. It's when you get up around 11 and 12 then they start to get nervous, but feel pretty comfortable with 8s.
It's the wickets though. 3 wickets that Australia have taken. What odds if you told someone this morning all 3 will go to this man?
That's his first one. Very sharp catch in the deep by Marnus Labuschagne. And a reflex one. Rohit Sharma. And then the big wicket. Virat Kohli. Steve Smith judged it well. Clever catch running back. Why so important, Glenn Maxwell. You can't keep him out of the game.
Slow ball, almost did him in.
And all he has done is kept things simple. It's not as if he's shown a lot of variations apart from controlling the pace, the flight at which he has bowled, and also the lengths have been pretty spot on. He's bowled a nagging length. He hasn't allowed, except for one where Rohit Sharma ran down the track and hit him for a 6. The batters haven't been allowed to either pull or come down the track. So he's kept things very simple.
Just seeing the ball, it's got little green on it, little patches of grey on it. Remember the time when you said just won the one ball and you used to get a lot of reverse, and then they got to a stage where they had to change the ball after 34 overs because it got green. Now, of course, you have 2 new balls, so this one's only 15 overs old yet. We sometimes don't realize that it's only 15 overs old.
That's what Mark Waugh says. His run should be double. It's hard to see the ball in the last 10 overs of a one-day game.
It's interesting how once people retire, they find reasons for making their stats appear more impressive. They should come back for 2. Didn't have helmets, didn't have thigh pads. But I'll be very honest, most of the time it's valid.
Bats are bigger, boundaries brought in a long way.
I think the one aspect of our game where you simply cannot compare numbers is one-day cricket, because the rules have changed so many times. I think if you want to compare numbers in one-day cricket, you do it in 6-7 year intervals. Beyond that, it's almost like a new generation coming in. Again, he's done it by the slow ball. 6 of the over. 30 gone, 185 for 3. Six bowlers. Cameron Green, 5 overs, 23. It's a big contribution that in the middle, coming just on the back of the new ball. Maxwell, of course, fantastic. 6 overs, 3 for 26. We've often been saying, what have sides learned about themselves in these 3 games? And Brad, you were asking this afternoon, what have Australia learned from these 3 games? I think they've learned a couple of things today. That Green, the bowler, could come up. That Maxwell, the cricketer, is invaluable, especially today with the ball.
And the other thing we learned is we got a game style right. We took the game on in the first 10 overs, and Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne played an up-tempo game during the middle, run hard, rotate the strike to the spin, and that's the one thing I got out of today, is that they got their balance right with their batting.
And the other thing I've learned is that Australia don't like to bowl 2 spinners in tandem. Every time there's one spinner in operation, there's always a seamer on from the other end. We had that Matt Short and Adam Zampa, never did they bowl together. We've got Tanveer Sangha and Glenn Maxwell, either of them bowls. You always have a seamer at the other end.
It's a simple little shot for 2. And then when the opportunity comes, come back and get the bigger one. Good batting, very good batting by a good player with spin bowling.
That's an extraordinary shot there. The ball wasn't that short. And speaking about how this new white ball has got soft, shoes the crease, just a flick of the wrist.
In the build-up to a World Cup, how much can you read into performances on tracks like these? If you're going to get a track like this at the World Cup, that's fine. You can relate to these performances here. Are all tracks going to be as flat and easy to bat on as this?
More often than not, you are going to get good wickets. At least this outfield is much bigger than many other grounds they're going to be playing on. Places like Bangalore, Wankhede, it's tiny. Eden Gardens is a flat wicket. It's not the old Eden Gardens, and it's not the biggest of boundaries. It's a huge stadium, but it's not the biggest of boundaries. So you are going to be up against some real challenging tracks if you're a bowling unit.
Lucknow might be slowish. Chennai might be slowish. 11 came of that Sangha over. 196 for 3. Sixth over for Pat Cummins. Been a touch expensive today. 5 overs for 41. My word. Shreyas Iyer. He swatted that ball, hasn't he?
There is no respect for an international bowler. He's captain of the side, fast bowler, gets swatted over mid-wicket, disdainfully. KL Rahul. That's a man in form, just the way he's batted. Just a slap if you're a bowler.
Fast bowlers are just defanged. It's like you're telling a fast bowler, yeah, come, but I'm taking away all your weapons.
We've seen the fast bowlers tonight at times that they were easy to play at the start, then during the middle overs and at the back end we've seen Bumrah do well when he changed his pace. And that's what Paddy's been doing well till now. He's been changing his pace, making it hard for the batsman to line him up, but that ball was one was just to relieve a bit of pressure as the first ball the over, just to put a bit of pressure back on the over of Paddy.
It's incredible how our game changes with time, and that's why you can never compare. To think that at times fast bowlers scared you with pace, and now the fast bowler's rescue ball is the slow one. First saw the slower one, I remember, it might have been Simon O'Donnell and Steve Waugh, the 1987 World Cup. Was done sporadically in the past, obviously. That was the first time we saw it being used on a regular basis in a World Cup.
That was the back of the hand slow ball.
Essentially, Pat Cummins is running in a long way, bowling fast off breaks into the deck. So he's got the long on out. Otherwise, his field is out in the boundary. Fine leg, square leg, deep point. Seven, just under par this over. 32 gone, 2 or 3 for 3. And it's time for some welcome drinks. Rohit Sharma looked in very good nick, 81. Washington Sundar 18 and Kohli 56. All three to Maxwell. The second of those is the one to watch. This one was a well-timed shot, almost too well-timed, and a wonderful catch by Manas Labuschagne. Look at this one. I don't think he's hit it as well as he normally does, but it's a fabulous reflex catch. And then Virat Kohli trying to hit the ball too hard, maybe. Good catch again. So once again, the new ball travelled. 5 overs for 44 for Mid-Stark. Cummins 6 overs for 48. Hazelwood once again very steady. I thought Hazelwood was also the best bowler in that 399 run effort from India and Indore. But Maxwell, big plus, always in the game. 6 overs, 3 for 26. Right, 150 to get at 8.33. There's often a lot of talk about doubling score after 30. There's a point of view that with the game getting more and more aggressive, you actually start to double after 32. It worked very well for scores of about 300, 320. The moment the scores went above 320, you couldn't quite double the score after 30. So if you look at a 320 kind of game, you score at 5 and over after 30, 150, 160, double the score, and then go at 8 and over after that. The sixes today were a treat to watch.
Looked in lovely touch for a man who hasn't played a couple of games. Yes, it's a good track, but just the way he bats makes batting look very easy. Loves the pull shot. Hit 6 of them. He's one of the highest 6-hitters in modern day cricket, only behind Chris Gale. And just the touch he looked in and the kind of timing he had. Good signs for India.
A couple of batters then today looking good for 100 and falling short.
Wait.
Mitch Marsh made 96. Rohit Sharma today 81.
I don't know whether you saw those pictures, Harsha, but Mitch Marsh in serious conversation with the physio. Ominous signs there too. Doesn't augur well for Australia if something's happened to him. Because it didn't look like a friendly conversation or any sort of banter between the two of them.
Lucky we're well covered with all-rounders. Marcus Stoinis on the bench. Ashton Agar. No, he did make a difference at the top of the order today, Mitch Marsh.
I still think a Stoinis is easier to replace than a Mitch Marsh, who these days is predominantly a batter who bowls a bit. Stoinis hard-hitting finisher who can give you seam up in some days. Takes a new ball, probably won't need to when Australia fully staffed. Unless the conversation was just about, look, I got dehydrated today. Can we work on that? Can we work out a system where I remain fresh, don't struggle so much? I don't think it was an injury as much. It's just dehydration, maybe.
Yeah, I hope you're right. You don't want to see any player be injured and miss the World Cup, and especially now that he's had such a checkered past with injury, Mitch Marsh, and now starting to find some rhythm in his game at the top of the order.
It's a crucial phase this in the game now, because the asking rate will go up very quickly as the number of overs will become lesser and lesser. It's 8.62 now. You really don't want it to go up to 10 and over unless it's down to the last 7-8 overs. They've got to stay abreast of this asking rate now. It's a good challenge for Sangha. Young man picked up 4 in his first T20 international. He's got a wicket in ODIs as well, not a bad one. Temba Bavuma. It's a field really deep. It's a very good over, very good over. 3 off it, 206 for 3. Mid-start comes on, 5 overs for 44. You don't say that about a 3-game series, but some people dragging themselves on the field. Maybe it's the heat, it's the humidity.
Yeah, it could be, but it all could so be everyone's ready for the World Cup. They want to get these games out of the way. At this stage of the 3-match series, everyone's only got out of it what they need. Australia need a few more overs out of Stark and maybe Cummins, and they'll get that. But from a batting point of view, India have got what they need. Now it's about not being injured and starting fresh again and making sure you're fresh for that first game on the 8th against Australia.
It's a peculiar one too. In the build-up to the World Cup, you always count how many games do I have to get my formation right. Oh, I've got only 8 games, I've got 10 games, I've got 12 games left. And as you come closer, find teams are resting all their key players. I mean, England are playing 1 day against Ireland. They would have said, right, we've got so many games, and then suddenly it's a completely different side. New Zealand have sent a completely different side out to Bangladesh. Australia played a different side in the first 2 one-day games here. So as you come closer to the World Cup, you're actually resting players.
I suppose it's a trade-off. You want to keep your key players intact. You don't want them injured right before the game. You would rather have them go into the World Cup undercooked rather than being injured, is what the feeling is. Sometimes you don't want a Ben Stokes or a Virat Kohli or some of these key players to be injured going into the World Cup. And you expect them as senior players and experienced players that they are going to up the ante when the bell rings.
And tournament play is a different beast also. Tournament play is about peaking at the right time. I remember before the 2015 World Cup, I don't know if you remember, we played a tri-series against Zimbabwe and South Africa in Harare. And Steve Smith wasn't selected in those matches. And we lost to Zimbabwe leading into 2015. So tournament play is about making sure your best players are peaking at the right time.
He's got a wonderful record when he bats in the middle order. He produces some wonderful innings. He's very fluent, as he's always been. This is back in 2020, 80 or 52 balls. You can see why over the years people like to come and bat here. Now live, he's 18 of 21. Called wide. You make a valid point about rather being a little undercooked than having injury problems. So many teams have had injury problems going into this tournament. Bangladesh have just announced they're going to be without Tamim Iqbal. Australia struggling with Travis Head. We don't know about Ashunega coming in. Maxwell's only just come back in. Pakistan are without Naseem Shah. That's going to be a bit of a blow. And Sri Lanka without Chamira and Hasaranga. There's quite a few teams that have injury problems.
And I say that because you have experienced players here. You have guys who have been there and done it. And with the volume of cricket that is being played, wonderful fielding, good fielding by Glenn Maxwell. Again, extremely quick across the turf.
He's fit if he can feel like that.
If it's a rookie, I can understand that you want to give him lots of games before a World Cup if he's part of your plans. But I would rather go into a World Cup knowing that all my key players are fit. They're going to play the tournament. It's a round-robin tournament. It's not as if you've got only 4 games and you miss the cut. You have enough time. But I would rather have all my players fit and raring to go.
India have been lucky on that count. The one player that I'd loved to have, but he's been out for almost a year. Oh, it's close. It was Rishabh Pant, of course. It made a huge difference to the middle order, but it's looking pretty well stocked, the middle order.
I think India's problem in the middle order is who do they go? They've got 3 to go into 1. Well, fielded there by Marnus Labuschagne. He's been outstanding today in the field. He's been a ball of energy. He's looking to create opportunities, took a good catch out in the outfield. Yeah, these games are about making sure different players are at different stage in their preparation. It's been great for Cameron Green. He's got some bowling under his belt in these conditions.
6 of the over. The asking rate's going up. 2 on 2 for 3. .41 now of 16. Required run rate 8.81. 7 wickets in hand. There's Jadeja to come, Surya Kumar Yadav to come. It's setting itself up for a Sky special. But how many Sky specials can you have?
You can just feel the pressure building here a little bit. Australia bowled a couple of good overs. And the Indian batsmen look like they got frustrated with INDvsAUS last over. Be an opportunity just to open the game up here, Australia. They can just find a way to get a wicket here with the frustration of the Indian batsmen.
And that will break the shackles a little bit. No, it won't. It's good fielding again. Aaron Hardy is the sub. As a keeper, was one of your jobs also just to check out on body language? Are the batters getting a little fidgety? Did you have to pass on that information, saying, look, something might happen here?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Our job was to make sure the intensity was right in the field, and if we've seen the batsman getting tired, maybe tell the fielder to throw to that end that they're running. Yeah, but we found ways to probably be as annoying as we possibly could for the opposition.
I'll tell you one thing about your generation of Aussie players. They're far more pleasant when retired.
Yeah, something happened to us when we walked across that white line.
I think Sanga's got better and better as he's bowled. Has he sliced that ball a little bit? Didn't quite get the timing. Yeah, I think he's got better as he's gone along in this spell.
Someone bowling on this track, he's bowled really well. We saw Washington Sundar, after going for 9 in the first over, pull it back very nicely. INDvsAUS, again, you can understand why people talk quite highly. Brad spoke about how he gets the ball up and over the eye line and gets the ball to drop. He's done that. He's got the odd one to drift and curl into the right-hander. Every now and then he's mixed his pace up and pushed it. I think this experience will only stand him in good stead, because these are flat conditions for any bowler.
Another thing you need to remember is INDvsAUS didn't play cricket for 12 months. He hasn't played any first class till this day. He's come straight in the Australian team after being injured for 12 months.
Now that might break the shackles, even if unintentional. There's a boundary that comes in after 21 balls. India going through these large barren boundary phases. 50 of the partnership comes up through actually a good ball.
Well bowled there from INDvsAUS. Beat the batsman in flight. This stage of the game, there's no slip.
And the over finishes at 9 of it. 8.8 the required run rate. 2 to 1 for 3. Australia 33 ahead at this stage, but that curve flattened a little bit as the innings went along. They didn't quite get the finish they thought they could, but at the moment 352, which looked about 25 short of where they could have been, is looking good enough. Mid-Stark with his 7th.
Just having a look at Australia's fielding package today, which is a really good sign. Fielding's all about attitude, and what they've done is he's tried to put themselves in positions in the field to influence the result of the game. When you've seen your senior players there, like David Warner, Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne diving around and making that little effort to contribute, it's a really good sign.
Jadeja to come, then Surya Kumar Yadav. We don't know what order they'll do it in now. I think we're getting into a situation now where it's got to be Surya Kumar Yadav first, though India would love to have had a powerful innings from Jadeja at some point in the build-up to this World Cup. But India fast getting to a stage, in fact probably already there, where they need a boundary and over. The single won't hurt anybody.
As we touched on before, though, the modern day batter don't panic around 8 and 9. They start to panic a little bit around 11 and 12, and you can see a behaviour change then in their batting. But they're comfortable to go at 8 or 9, and especially with the last 6 or 7, and then when the run rate's around 10, they're comfortable.
Long time since I saw a bowler start his run up outside 30-yard circle. Just looking at this, if there's no dew, batting first might not be such a bad option in the World Cup.
But how do you know there won't be any dew? That's the big question, isn't it? That's the big question everyone wants to answer. Is there anything which can tell us before the game that there won't be any dew today?
If you can put a lunar module on the moon, you should be able to find some parameters to suggest that there's going to be dew or no. Straight up. It's a tricky one. It's very, very high in the air. But he's got the gloves and he completes it easily. So Alex Carey with the catch. KL Rahul's got to go back. 26 of 30. Never really was in.
Well bowled by the Australians. They're bowled well in partnership. If you just look here, Mitchell starts a slow ball. KL Rahul tries to go across the line. Alex Carey safe under the high ball. We've seen that a couple of times during this series. A very clever bowling there from Mitchell Stark. KL Rahul departs for 26. India now 4 for 223.
So Surya Kumar Yadav comes out. Always comes out with expectation accompanying him, walking alongside him as he comes to the crease. Question is the surface conducive for him to get into it straight away? 72 of 37 the other night was a special innings as an indoor, slightly smaller ground. Last couple of innings in Mohali and in indoor suggested he's coming to terms with the different rhythms of one-day cricket. This is perfect for him. 14 overs left. 130 to get. It's 2 runs and a wicket in this over. consistently taking pace off. He'll get off the mark right away. 36 gone. It's 224 for India. Need 129.
Yeah, that was an important wicket. KL Rahul has the big game. He's got the range as well, can score quickly against spin, pace too. Just had this feeling that maybe India would want to send somebody like a Jadeja in, just to give him some time to find his batting form. Has hardly batted or got runs in recent times. Plus the cliched left hand right hand combination, but it's Surya Kumar Yadav that's come out.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to win the game. It is a one-day international, so I suppose you don't want to tinker too much. But yeah, not a bad opportunity to give Jadeja a good hit out. 14 overs to go. It's been a bit short of runs, we know that.
Yeah, what's happening here on this pitch, which is very unusual in India, with nightfall and the lights on, the ball tends to come on to the bat. But the Australian seam bowlers have been able to take the speed off the ball. The ball has gripped, stayed in the surface a little longer, which is quite rare, Mark. It rarely happens. It gets easier to bat on, comes on to the bat a lot easier. And that hasn't happened at all. And that's why Australia at this stage look the favourites to win this game, because the ball is gripping into the pitch, both for the seamers and the spinners.
Maybe the extreme heat during the days just dried it out. We saw that actually in indoor, where the ball started to grip. I know we had some rain and the covers were on and off.
Pulled off the sweep shot today. Counted, I think, 49 balls in that game. When he got a 50, didn't play a single sweep shot. It's come out of the draw very quickly today.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need to put some pressure back on the bowler, because he's somebody who can play from well outside the off stump. You need to play somebody who can play the unorthodox shot, and this is what he does. This is his favorite shot, mind you. Big stride across the off stump and then that sweep shot.
He's got such a range of sweep shots. He can hit it fine, he can paddle it, he can hit it square, he can reverse sweep. And it's being sliced away as well. That could well be 4. Good bit of work, Maxwell out there. We've saved a lot of runs on the rope, Australia, tonight.
Yeah, there have been a couple of overthrows which were slightly embarrassing for Australia, but apart from that, the fielding has been exceptional. They've saved maybe 10, 12 runs. Always a value add to any team when you have fielders like that committed. In the outfield, in the ring as well, to save the singles. Oh, misunderstanding, but the ball was far away from the fielder. 37 overs gone. 232 for 4. Always going to be a tough ask for India, chasing score. The kind that Australia put on. 352 is not a small total. The hope was that batting second, things get easier in India, but not tonight. He's been good so far. Hazelwood. back in the attack. Shreyas Iyer has quietly moved on to 40 and is the man on strike. Surya Kumar Yadav on strike, and maybe at this stage you would think he's found his 50 overs game.
Well, he's shown some great signs in this series. This innings was special, 72 from 37 in indoor. He's on target, hit 6 sixes and one over there at one stage. He played all the shots, he thought about every shot he had in the kit bag. Most of them you wouldn't find in a coaching manual. But he's so dangerous because he hits to areas that no other batsman can hit to.
Gone. Straight to the field, a simple catch. And Surya Kumar Yadav is gone, and a stunned silence on the ground as you would expect.
The commentator's curse and the producer's curse. He's just showed the highlights of the series so far, and he's spliced the next ball straight to mid-wicket, and you could just hear the crowd, just a silence come over them. An off-pace ball from Hazelwood. He actually hit it twice. Come off very slowly, and he's down Glenn Maxwell's sky. Yeah, he's disappointed. How did that happen? Hitting the ball twice. He's got to go. It's 5 for 233.
Jadeja's come in, but at the fall of Surya Kumar Yadav's wicket. And there again, you see how the pitch has responded to the seam bowlers. Figures for Jadeja, you'll see the wicket ball of Josh Hazelwood. I think he's bowled a seam up to begin with. The ball just sits into the pitch. Very rarely does that happen under lights in India, but it's happened tonight.
And it also bounced a little bit more than he anticipated. So he got a bit cramped for room as well, and then it hit near the bat manufacturer's name. And it was a double hit in a way.
It was nearly a triple hit. Seemed to stay on the bat face. The ball just sort of stuck to it.
In gully cricket, we would have been out double bat, even if the catch wasn't taken.
He just couldn't get the room to swing his arms. The bat, he was sort of tucked up. Yeah, this sort of tucked him up. He almost got too close to the line of the ball. Couldn't swing as he would have liked.
Just find the gap, he does. First boundary for Jadeja.
Good start for him. He already got off the mark with a nice shot down the third man. Now he's pierced a gap between backward point and the man in the deep. Just a bit of width from Josh Hazelwood. He won't be overly happy with that delivery. You don't want to give the left-handers too much width.
Played that fine. Did he get his gloves to it? That's going to be another boundary. Consecutive fours for Jadeja. Good over for India. 11 runs coming off it. It's 243 for 5. Couple of shots that Jadeja has played behind scare, you would think coming out of the bat. But here again, it's an off-cutter. It's a bounce every time he's bowling that.
Yes, he is, but this is a clever shot. Because he saw where the fielder was. He wasn't looking to hit the ball as hard as he did the previous delivery. But he's used the pace and got a boundary.
A nice touch, just a late cut and then a genuine cut behind point. Let Maxwell back in the attack. He's been the pick of the bowlers, 3 for 26 so far. He's bowled just good, tight line and length, and the pressure the scoreboard has helped him bowl nicely.
It's actually been amazing, Maxwell. Ravi mentioned his repeatable bowling action, goes quickly through his overs. That looks good. It's gone a long way.
I was waiting for the Australia side to go long through mid-wicket. It's a favourite area of his. This time he gets it where he wants it. And he's hit it long, a long way. Good footwork. He gets to the line of the ball, the pitch of the ball. Beautiful swing of the bat.
What a comeback. 4th wicket. May have been the top spinner. Took his pace off. And Shreyas Iyer is gone on 48.
What a comeback by Glenn Maxwell. He's been hit over the stands for 6, and the next ball he gets one through the defence of Shreyas Iyer. Genuine off spinner. And he's just played slightly the wrong line, I think. Maybe didn't turn as much as he thought. Maxwell hits the off stump. He likes it too. He's got 5 for in his sights. G. Maxwell. India 6 for 249.